Scott Schiller coming to you from Team G503 with the 1943 Willys MB. Got news that Jimmy Strauss Jeeps is well underway of the engine rebuild for the MB engine that's supposed to be correct for this Jeep. So I will be removing the GPW engine here very shortly. And to get started with, I think I'm going to be disassembling some electric components, and then we'll take the hood and then windshield and the fenders off, and we'll be just showing you how to take each individual piece off of that. I'm going to go ahead and take this windshield off, and I've got the vacuum line rubber there and the vacuum wipers. Luckily for me, the line wasn't attached to anything, so that makes that easy, but that's disconnected. This is a real simple one, but I'll show you anyway. I'm going to simply undo the catches on both sides, and the one over there on the driver's side, and fold the windshield down. Really simple. Push it forward, gentle onto the blocks, and the hood's down. Then we move to the knobs. They're really easy to undo. Just go ahead and turn them right out. You got the little safety chain on there, so they ain't going anywhere. Going to go ahead and set that windshield aside for the time being. That'll go over to the other shop so I can work on that. There's a bunch of paint that's peeling on it, and the rubber all needs to be replaced. So the windshield's off. That little bastard right there needs to shut up. And next we'll move on to removing the hood. You got your catches there, your latches. This one has them on the back side of the hood also. Simply undo those. They're spring loaded and they just lift right off. Then we'll lift the hood up. Now it gets a little hairy here, but what I've done, that windshield's off. So I've just got it gently rested on the steering wheel there, because I'm working by myself now. If you had a helper, you could have them hold that hood, but basically all you're going to have to do is remove those 5 bolts. One's missing on this MB. So we'll just go get the socket and take the bolts out. Something to point out here while I've got the hood up in the air. These ground straps are rotten and not attached where they ought to be. So I've got the hood off. That was easy. And I want to show you something down here. These were an early video, but I've got the serial number, DOD, the engine that's in the air, the GPW engine, and the estimated hood number that we're going to be putting on here. You see it's all crusted up, rusted up. Something interesting. Part number A2977. Radiator air deflector bolted to the hood there. And Ron Fitzpatrick Jeep Parts has those in stock. That's something interesting to me. A very important tip I want to share with you, and it's a real simple one, but as you're taking apart one of these old Jeeps, what you're going to want to do is get yourself some Ziploc bags, the good ones with the tie on the top, they can't come apart. And what I do is, at the bolts, as I remove them, I will label on here what they are and what they go to, and then put them in the bag and zip them. And then I'll take a box and I'll put different assemblies and put the bolts in different assembly boxes, so when I go to put it back together, they're easy to get. Just a real simple tip. Something I want to show you also, for all the F-script guys out there, Ford guys, everybody loves the F-script bolts. On the MB, these are TR mark bolts. So the MB guys like the TR bolts and the EC bolts. So we'll clean those up on the wire wheel later, but they'll go in the bag for now. What I've started working on is actually removing the front panels and the fenders and the hood so I can get at this GPW engine that needs to be removed from here. And I'm going to be doing the complete disassembly of this and replacing that engine with the correct MB engine that's being built at Jimmy Strauss Jeeps out in California. So my next move is going to be to remove the headlight buckets so I can get at the grill. So we'll move to that next. Before you start working on any electrical any electrical part on the Jeep, you want to remove the you want to remove the negative cable, so you disconnect the system. There's no electricity going through the lines anywhere. So we'll go ahead and disconnect the negative cable. And now we're safe. We'll just set that out of the way. To remove the headlight bucket assembly and the arm, what I like to do first is I like to loosen this up and get this started while it's right on the Jeep. That way it's all secure. You could remove this whole system and take that off on a bench, especially if that was all seized. But I'm just going to go ahead and loosen this nut up on the actual headlight. Just get it started there. Keep my hand on it so don't spin. And now that's nice and loose, I won't have any problem getting that off after the fact. If you look in here, we were talking about EC marked bolts and TR marked bolts before. These are EC marked, so I'm pretty excited about that. They are connected to the grill on the back side. There's actually nuts that are already built into, or cage nuts on the back side of this grill. So you don't have to worry about getting underneath, just loosen those. So we'll go ahead and we'll loosen these. Just loose, let's just keep everything together. That one's got the ground on it. And then down here, we've got a wing nut that goes to a little bracket on the fender. And that's very simple, just take that up. It's got a washer on the underneath side here. And we get that loose enough, we can pick up on that and take it outside this arm. Just like that. And this will flip out. This is where you'd be able to change your light bulb if need be. But we're going to take the whole assembly off. So, back down, go back to our EC marked bolts. Ah, I was wrong. I thought those were cage nuts underneath there, and they're not. I actually got the old style star washers and a nut on there. So I was wrong on that one. I thought that those were cage nuts behind there. My bad. EC, we'll set that down there to be bagged. These nuts are not rusted, or bolts are not rusted. If they were, what you would do is you'd come in here beforehand and you'd give them a good soaking with a PB blaster or a curl or some sort of penetrant, so the rust would not stop you from taking the bolts off. Now we've got that out. Let's save that star washer because those are a gem. We've got the bucket loose. The next step will be to go through and take away the clips for the wiring. And we'll do that right now, but I won't film it. That's pretty boring. So this wiring harness is going to be replaced. It's all cracked and brittle. What I've done is I've removed the screws from the grill, and I'm going to leave those clips right on that harness and leave it whole. I'm not going to cut it just yet. That way when I get the new harness, I can go right back and figure out exactly where those new clips go. This gets routed down underneath here, as you can see, and then these wires connect to the junction block. And what I'll do is take a small screwdriver, get inside here and loosen up those screws, and I can remove all this wiring. I've already got this bucket loose, and we're just going to go ahead again and take out the nuts and the wing nut and remove that whole assembly. So we've got one headlight bucket off, completely off, and we're looking at the wiring harness here. And I'll leave that right in place for now. We'll do a video later on restoring these because we've got a bunch of crack paint on this, and the wiring's all brittle and it's got some bare spots on it there. But we'll leave that on there for now. And what I'm going to do with these is you get yourself some wrapping paper and some boxes, and then you just wrap this stuff up so it doesn't get damaged, and label it, put it in a box, and we'll take it out next time we need it and go through the steps on these. So I've got this beautiful Spartan horn here, and it works, but there's some surface rust and some crusties on here that I don't like, and we don't want that to disappear. We're going to remove this, so you just got two bolts right here that go through to a threaded block on the back side, so we'll take those off. I'm thinking that's the correct star washer behind there also. Got one. I want to show you what's behind this horn, and this will be nice to be out of the way and not get damaged when we replace the engine. it comes. There's the thread on the back side. And that bracket. You've got your 2 wires here. Just get you a 3/8 inch wrench. And we'll take those little nuts off there. We got our star washer. Really simple, not a problem at all. Don't lose the washer and don't lose the nuts. So get that off there. You don't want to drop them down in the engine compartment. And there is our Spartan horn. Well, we've taken a bunch of things apart on this and it still runs, and so at that point I had to take it out for one last little run around the block. It's going to be a I'm going to be a little disappointed not to be able to drive it again for a while, but hey, that's the project and we got to move forward. Hope you all enjoyed the video. Stay tuned and please subscribe to the Team G503 YouTube channel.